And Mind Crypto here. I hope we're all having a wonderful day. And the title of the video is, Can You See It? I'm Buying More. Remember, please subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any further videos. Remembering, I'm not a financial advisor, so none of the information provided in this video is financial advice and should never be taken as a signal to buy or to sell. But first and foremost, we look at these crypto bubbles, and as you can see, it's rather green today. We like that. And because it's always quite positive when you wake up and you see some greenery. And we are currently up one rank to 53 with a market cap of $1.42 billion and the price risen to $118 with a 24-hour volume of $24 million. So looking good for those that like the short-term action. And we move over to bull shark trading for our TA. So Quant fully retraced to fill the fair value gaps and mitigate the POC 4-hour time frame, have a possible bullish inverse head and shoulders forming. Neckline can be found at the support term resistance trend line, waiting for a valid breakout from there with next resistance at the HVNs. A rejection and further moves to the downside will see us load up on our quant bags. This is what dips are made for. Partly why I'm buying more, but not the main reason why I will be buying more. So we can see yesterday I put an alert out. Another wallet joins the party, added to the ever-growing list. I've got a long list. So this was a large transaction 55 minutes ago, which was yesterday. New wallet address, CB to private wallet, 2,215 quant, a value of $250,000. And I say TikTok because these wallets are growing. So you can see here 2,215 quant. And I've added this to my long list of bags that are holding quant where there are no outflows. And also we saw this, another large transaction to this wallet 11 hours ago. This is a second transaction within 24 hours. So CB to private wallet, 1,169 quant, $129,000. It takes the wallet over $1 million in only quant holdings, and there are so many. I had previously talked about this wallet because they just keep accumulating and I keep reporting. So we see this from Construction Trader ETH. I thought this was really important. The CEO, Gilbert Verdian, talking about the IFGS 2023 conference. We provide the innovation for capital markets to link tokenized money with tokenized deposits. Now listen to this.
Remind ourselves of some of the particular examples you've mentioned around the drivers. Retail CBDC in some countries is primarily to fight fraud, for example, or to increase financial inclusion. Maybe in the UK, CBDC is not so much financial inclusion, but maybe modernizing your money. So talking maybe with Gilbert, because you work with central banks directly, give us some examples of what you've encountered in that space and how it maybe also then is reflecting in the wholesale space.
I think it's exactly what Josh mentioned. Central banks have moved on from the theory and the policy side into live implementations. And what they're really considering is, what does this mean for my domestic system? A lot of central banks have migrated to real-time payments, and that has usually taken a 15-year journey to get there. And they're looking at what's next, and what does this mean for commercial banks? What does this mean for consumers? What does it mean for businesses? And what they're finding is, through the technology of smart contracts and DLTs, they're able to create a new form of money that has logic built in. And the central bank is not really interested in imposing things within the industry, but they want to facilitate things. And I guess the approach they're taking is, we'll provide the infrastructure and we'll provide the construct to create CBDCs, and we'll let banks innovate and create a new ecosystem around that technology and the platform. So we're seeing really interesting use case around programmable logic, allowing multi-party escrows, allowing conditional payments, allowing rapid dispersion of funds, where the private sector takes that responsibility and creates the innovation. And on the capital market side, it's linking tokenized money with tokenized assets and having a rapid settlement, moving from T+2 down to T+0 is the utopia. And we're seeing that innovation come from the payments world into the capital markets world.
Excellent.
Wow, so you see it there, innovation for capital markets to link tokenized money with tokenized deposits, and Overledger being in the center of innovation. Then we see this, and this is what's really got me, my juices flowing. R3's Todd McDonald discussing how R3 has been invested in interoperability to create more flexibility and choice for its customers. For R3 to be fully interoperable, it uses Overledger. So let's have a listen to this.
The last 5 years, we've been seeing an explosion in digital assets more broadly. This is the tokenization of existing assets, but also the creation of net new assets that we never really considered to be possible in a digital world. So you start to see this emergence of these networks of these new assets, and you think back to digital currency, and excuse the pun, it really is the other side of the coin to the digital asset play. We're thinking about programmable money, programmable assets. We're seeing a very strong trend in the market, and especially interestingly in the regulated space, for the promise and the application of digital assets and digital currency together to allow for business transactions to happen in more real time with lower risk and lower cost. R3 has been thinking about interoperability from day one of the company. We realize that this technology needs multiple participants to come together, but really multiple networks. If you think about today, we live in a multi-network world. Interoperability is crucial, especially when we're talking about the flow of money, the flow of assets. And so we've been investing in interoperability for our own networks and increasingly interoperability to other emerging networks to be able to create more flexibility and choice for our customers and reduce the risk of them in adopting this technology today. Central bank digital currency is a perfect example of the need for interoperability and the work that R3 is doing today on that. If you think about what central banks around the globe are trying to do, they're trying to solve the challenge of cross-border payments, but still have things settle back into central bank money. That is essentially an interoperability problem and something that we're working on currently with Monetary Authority of Singapore and other central banks.
Wow. And Quant has made it very, very simple for them with 3 lines of code. Absolutely amazing. And interoperability is what they're investing in. And with all this talk of tokenization, interoperability, we see this from Just a Tech Guy. Quant is telling how it's done. The FCA says 85% of crypto firms failed its anti-money laundering test. Treasury Committee Chair says figures show the industry could still be a wild west. And this brings me into the subject of regulations. I know I bang on about this so much, but for everything to work, you have to create standards. And to create those standards, you bring in regulations and you create a framework. And I believe this is where the TC 307 comes in and why it's so important. And we see this market regulation in Europe will clarify the rules for secondary trading, giving fund managers new reassurances to consider tokenization. And over the next few years, trust will be a huge factor that determines the adoption rate of tokenization within asset management. Although blockchain provides transparency on the movement of tokens, at the outset, investors need certainty that fund managers can link the security tokens to real economic rights of underlying asset. The private investment bank Brown Brothers Harriman believes this is best done through financial institutions that have a high degree of familiarity and trust with consumers and other institutions who can guarantee the connection between the token and the real asset. Regulation will improve the trust aspects of investing in tokenized funds by providing managers and investors with greater clarity on legal aspects involved. This will be vital steps towards institutional adoption. DLA Piper, the global law firm, have recognized for its innovation efforts on the back of Toko, a digital asset creation engine that empowers asset owners and investors to remove the legal complexities associated with digital asset creation. It is a prescient move ahead of upcoming European regulation. Regulation to sell tokens on primary market is already quite clear. But what is still opaque is the regulation around buying and selling tokens on a secondary market. And in June 2022, the European Parliament and European Council finalized new legislation for the EU's DLT pilot regime for tokenized securities. The new regime will come into force in Q1 2023. The DLT pilot regime, a regulatory sandbox, is being used to help facilitate the development of secondary market infrastructure and allow eligible firms to operate a DLT-based trading facility and settlement system for financial instruments. It will help provide the regulatory guardrails for financial instruments to be tokenized and traded, and should reassure investors by building further trust in digital fund assets over the coming years. And then we see in the UK, the HM Treasury plans to introduce a financial market infrastructure sandbox this year. No draft legislation is currently in place, but the UK government is engaging with industry practitioners and regulators to work on details of this initiative. All in all, it becomes a chicken and egg question. Is the regulation following the industry adoption or vice versa? Right now, tokenization projects and new oversight regimes occurring in parallel. This is a positive sign. The visionaries are innovating and taking new products and services to market. And whilst the regulators are looking at the systemic issues and risks to consumers and broader financial stability, both sides are operating symbiotically with increasing speed and scope and application. Wow. So we are moving very, very quickly. And as we see here, Andrew Carrier, regulation will improve the trust aspect of investing in tokenized funds. And who brings that to the table? Quant with its new standards, TC 307, bringing that into the world. Really, really important information there. Remember, please subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any further videos, and all the best, and I'll catch you later.